morning. Good morning, Jess. So I'm going to start off today. We're going to talk about remedies for colds, cold remedies, just because, there's a real few going around at the moment, aren't there? You know, real nasty ones. But first of all, I just want to mention you need to think about probably about 10 questions when you're looking for a remedy for a cold. And the first one would be, did it come on suddenly? You know, did the symptoms come on really quickly? Was it all a bit of a surprise? Did they come on after a surprise? Because that's also indicating a particular remedy as well. Second one would be, what is your nose up to? What's going on? Is it stuffed up? Is it running this white stuff? You know, homeopaths always love what colour your snot is and things like that. They love that kind of stuff. What's going on with your throat? Because your throat is one of your first lines of defense, and it's going to be probably furiously trying to get rid of that virus or trying to catch it. And it will probably be, is it left-sided, right-sided? What does it feel like? If you're aching in your bones already, or if you're really achy, you need to start thinking about, am I going to have to look at flu remedies for this one? Because that's your key indicator of, has it gone from a rotten old cold or a bunch of random symptoms, has it gone to flu symptoms, which can happen quite quickly, sort of within 12 hours. It can happen really. So if you're aching and you got chills and a fever, or those achy feelings, so you watch out for your flu remedies then. Temperature, if it's a young child and their temperature's gone through the roof, that's quite often belladonna. You want to moderate that temperature to a level where it's still killing the virus, but it's not going to risk your poor child going into some kind of a febrile fit.
I just make a note there with the febrile convulsions. I learnt, because I had the youngest of mine used to do my febrile convulsions on me.
Yeah,
not
scary. Scary.
They're horrifically scary. I thought the first time I knew logically he wasn't dying, but in my arms he was, fitting. We went straight to the hospital. What the doctor said was, one, that painkillers such as Pamol and ibuprofen don't stop the febrile convulsion. What a febrile convulsion is when the temperature spikes really quickly. So it just goes zhoosh, like that. They can still have a febrile convulsion even if they've had Pamol or ibuprofen.
Yeah. So with that, the one that I've used most often is just to calm it a wee bit, is the belladonna, but your body's still doing the job and fighting the infection. So also, do you have a headache? What kind of a headache is that? Is it when you take your head off the pillow or the child or the person takes the head off the pillow, is it impossible to live with? That's a strong indicator for another remedy. What's going on with the eyes? Are the eyes watering? Are the eyes glassy? Also a worry, but also a strong indicator. Is the person fearful, anxious, worried? Did they get a shock just before the symptoms came on? Because that can be, it all affects your immune system. How's this person behaving? Do they want company? Do they want you to go away and turn the lights off? Or are they craving company? What makes it better or worse? So are hot drinks making it better? Are they thirsty? Are they thirsty or hungry? Yeah, also important. And when did it start, and what do you think caused it? I mean, straight away most people are going to say, well, they just got it from one of their mates or something like that, but also it can be, a lowering of the immune system because something else has happened, like a fright or a shock, or you've been for a big run or something, or just played a game of sport and got really cold afterwards. That can be another thing. So there's about 10 in my books, about 10 really well-known cold remedies, and Jess, you're just going to mention a few of those, right?
I am. Well, I think if we know any basic remedies, probably have a clue about what Kate was talking about the one that getting very cold. or having a big shock. What is it? Da, 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 da. Aconite. Aconite, fear, cold, shock, big intense things along, especially in winter when you're standing on the field, or like Kate said, you're getting cold to your bone. Those are really good key indicators. It's also one that if you're starting to feel sick, that you can take. If you're starting to feel like you're coming down with something, or you've gotten cold, we've had a big fright. And belladonna, there will be some kind of a fever or some kind of hot throbbing pain, but that can be caused by fear too. That can be a big fright and can bring on the fever. In the old text, it's also one that can be brought on by cutting your hair.
Yeah,
That particular key note.
But if you think about it, it's, you've got your wet hair, your head's got cold then they'll cut your hair wet, right? So your head's got cold. So that's caused, I think that is what causes the problem more than anything else.
I think they don't let you go away with the wet hair anymore. But back in the olden days, they probably wet your hair and cut it and then let you out into the freezing colds or what have you in Germany.
Yeah.
With the initial provings. Say pulsatilla is probably one of the most well-known cold remedies, mostly because it's quite well indicated for clingy kids with the green snot that comes down in the two big candlesticks. You know those kids with the big green down here. But as an adult, maybe you won't have this green snot going down your face, but you will blow it. And you might want to be outside, or you might want a window open. That's often a keynote of pulsatilla. They need the fresh air. So in a stuffy room, they feel really yucky.
On Ferrum Phos is the other one with aconite, isn't it? Where you're feeling rough, your energy's dropped, and your throat's a little bit scratchy potentially. I quite often go for Ferrum Phos, and what that does is then you'll have a succession of remedies as you go through the cold, and then your symptoms just are not as intense as they would have been if you weren't taking remedies.
Well, it's iron, isn't it? And how often are we low on iron? And I always name it as the sort of waffly one, where you're like, these symptoms are a bit waffly, they're a bit undecided. So, Ferrum Phos it is.
And that where you're anxious and for no particularly good reason is often arsenicum, fearful for your health. So you've come down with a cold and for some reason everything is starting to worry you. Think about arsenicum for that one as well.
Or if you've been generally anxious, and there's often a bit of restlessness, and it might not be visible.
I say, arsenicum's definitely restless. They've got probably a good healthy fear of doctors, and they are anxious generally quite often.
The restlessness, just as a side note, what I've noticed with arsenicum, which can have burning pains, if you've got a burning cough, burning nose, burning eyes, things like that, and the anxiety, and maybe the restlessness, they're either like fidgeting on the couch, or maybe one finger's going, they're tapping, or it might be in your mind is racing and, restless in your mind. But there is a certain restlessness with arsenicum, and the burning restlessness, burning and anxiety with the arsenicum.
There's more, but that's a really good start, right?
We might have to do a series on these ones.
We might have to do a follow-up cold and coughs one, perhaps. How about that?
And then flu. I'll have to see you soon then.
All right.
See you, Kate.
Cheers, Jess. Bye.